Hi, I'm Robert Fukui, and this is my wife,
Hi, you guys. And this
Kaylee.
is, oh, sorry. This is Kaylee and this is Pippa too.
Yeah, this one's Kaylee, this one's Pippa. Hey, we just want to share with you a little bit of what Diane and Neil Arnold's face-to-face marriage seminar and what it meant to us. We've been married for 14 years. Last month. We celebrated 14 years, or was it this month? Anyways,
It was this
May
month
13th.
because today's the last day of the month.
And we even before we got married, we went through 2 years of, I guess, relationship counseling. We weren't even married yet, but and we certainly learned a lot that helped us in the early stages of our marriage. But that was 14 years ago, so you tend to get a little rusty, right? So it was a great opportunity for us to fly out there from Pasadena and be with them in Charleston and to really learn, kind of relearn some tools, but even learn some new ones. And so we just want to share a little bit about what that weekend meant to us and how it impacted us and what are maybe two takeaways that we had. So ladies first, honey.
Yeah, so it's always good to have a nice tune-up for your marriage. And for me, it was emotional regulation. And so that means that I am in charge of my feelings and that I don't have to allow people to push my buttons.
Talk about like me.
Yeah, like you. I don't have to allow you to push my buttons. And at the same time, I need to be in charge of how I respond to other people.
Yeah. And in the same light, I pretty much took the same kind of takeaway, which is, it is kind of all about me as far as I'm the problem, but I can also be part of the solution.
Yeah, you are the problem.
So, we always love to point the finger. It's a lot easier to point the fingers, right? Because we don't want to have to take ownership about the mess that we've created or at least been part of. So, it doesn't matter. A lot of times we get into these arguments and we're like, well, you started it or you started it. And it really doesn't matter at the end of the day of who starts it. But we also, whoever starts it, at least one of us, each one of us can also be the solution to resolving conflict well, regardless of who starts it. And so understanding that and taking ownership that, hey, I can either escalate the issue by triggering her because I get upset because she brought up a topic that was a little sensitive to me. So I get upset. So I'm just going to trigger her because we all know how to trigger each other. Right. And then it just goes and you just get in this vicious cycle of just trying to prove each other right or wrong. I'm trying to prove myself right. I'm trying to prove her wrong. I'm defending myself and all that. And you just get into this thing as opposed to taking a step back and saying, look, okay, obviously I've hurt you. What can I do, right, to make this better? And just have just an adult conversation, because I think when we get into arguments, we go into childhood and we just we just throw tantrums. And so anyways, understanding that I'm the problem, but I'm also the solution was a huge takeaway. So there's even a scripture about that, right? About, take the log out of your own eye before you can even, take the speck out of somebody else's eye. So take ownership. And because I think when we get into these arguments, it becomes like a competition. Sometimes you even bring up past arguments, throw that in there. And marriage is not a competition. It's about, we're a team, right? But so competing against each other just fractures the team. So what can we do? Whatever the issue is, the topic at hand is, how do we resolve this in a meaningful way? Because conflict is not bad. It's how you handle it. And when you handle it well and you resolve it, it actually brings you closer together as opposed to tearing you apart.
Yeah, it's not about wounding the person that you love. That's not okay.
Yeah, so in fact, we have a little list of things that is allowed to do versus not to do in an argument. And one of those is obviously not triggering each other.
Not pushing buttons.
And we know what triggers us. We have a list of, all the triggers that you don't touch.
You guys know what the triggers are. Yeah, I'm sure if you've been married for any amount of time.
Yeah, and sometimes you intentionally want to trigger them because you get hurt. So you want to lash back. So anyways, that doesn't help. So those are the key takeaways for us, is that really we're the problem, but we're also the solution. And having these discussions about how do we resolve things and have these discussions before you have an argument, right? If we have a disagreement, how do we handle it? Right? So anyways, anything else, honey?
No, that's it.
So you definitely need to take face-to-face. It's a great marriage seminar. I don't care if you've been to counseling or not. I don't care how long you've been married. There's never a perfect marriage, and we all have opportunities to get better. So God bless you all, and hope to see you all soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.